Does your voice matter if you are not famous? Widowhood, resilience, and showing up anyway. Have you ever felt like your voice didn't matter? Like no matter how much life has taught you, no matter how much you've survived, people only seem to listen to those who are already famous. I've asked myself that question many times. Why does it look like other people don't matter? As a widow, I've had to become both parents. I've had to make difficult decisions on my own, raise my children, go to work, pay the bills, carry responsibilities I never imagined I have to carry alone. And somehow, I still have to find the strength to show up every day. Not just for my family, but to contribute my part to the world and to humanity. Widowhood has taught me lessons I never wanted to learn. Those lessons have changed how I see life. They've changed how I treat people. They've changed how I define strength. So I shared those lessons, hoping they might encourage someone else. Hoping someone out there might feel less alone. But sometimes it feels like people scroll past it. Not because the message isn't valuable, but because the person sharing it isn't well known. And that made me stop and ask myself a question. Do our voices only matter if we are celebrities? Or can ordinary people who've lived through pain, loss, grief, disappointment, and still keep showing up? Can our voices matter too? That's what I want us to talk about today. Because widowhood taught me something about resilience and influence that completely changed the way I see my own voice. And by the end of this video, I hope you will see your own voice differently too. Hi, I'm Sola. Welcome to Reflect, Heal with Sola, where we have honest conversations about emotional healing, personal growth, grief, and the lessons life teaches us. If that's the kind of content you are looking for, I love to have you subscribe. Now let's talk. I never want to do this, but I'm doing it anyways. When my husband passed away, my life changed overnight. People often think widowhood is only about losing your spouse. It is. It is. But that's only part of the story. Widowhood changes almost every area of your life. Suddenly, you are making decisions alone. You are managing finances alone. You are worrying about the future alone. If you have children, they still need a parent. Homework doesn't stop. School fees don't stop. Even here in the US, we don't pay school fees, but there is still some little things you need money for. Mortgage payments don't stop. House repairs don't stop. Life doesn't stop just because your heart is broken. People often tell widows, "You are so strong." And while I appreciate that, sometimes I wonder if strength is really the right word. Many of us don't feel strong. We are simply doing what has to be done. We are simply doing what has to be done. We wake up because our children need us. We go to work because the bills have to be paid. We keep moving because stopping isn't really an option. That isn't always strength. Sometimes it's survival. Sometimes resilience doesn't look like confidence. Sometimes resilience looks like getting out of bed when you don't feel like it. Going to work when your heart is heavy. Smile while you are carrying grief that no one else can see. People see the outside. They don't always see what's happening inside. They don't always see what's happening inside. And that's true for so many people, not just widows. Maybe you are caring for aging parents. Maybe you are recovering from a divorce. Maybe you've lost a child. Maybe you are dealing with depression or financial stress. Many people are carrying invisible burdens. That's why I've learned not to judge people too quickly. We never truly know what someone else is carrying. One thing widowhood has taught me is compassion. It has taught me that everyone deserves kindness because we really know the full story. But there's another lesson widowhood has taught me. It's about influence. Sometimes I spend time creating videos like this. I think carefully about what I want to say. I made my notes. I try to share lessons that life has taught me. Not because I think I have all the answers. Not because I owe the world that. No, I certainly don't owe anybody anything. I'm still learning. I'm still healing. I'm still growing. But I hope that something I've learned might help someone else. Then I post the video. Sometimes very few people watch. Maybe because I'm not an entertainer. Sometimes very few people respond. And if I'm honest, there have been moments when I've wondered, does my voice even matter? Maybe you've asked yourself something similar. Maybe you've shared an idea at work that no one noticed. Maybe you've started a business that few people supported. Maybe you've posted something meaningful online that hardly anyone saw. It can make you question yourself. But then I started thinking differently. The people who have influenced my life the most weren't celebrities. They weren't famous authors. They weren't people with millions of followers. Actually, some of them don't even have social media. Some were teachers, some were friends, some were neighbors, some were co workers. Some probably never imagined the impact they had on my life. One conversation, one act of kindness, one word of encouragement. Those moments stayed with me. That's when I realized that influence isn't measured by popularity. Influence is measured by impact. If one person watches this video and feels less alone, that's impact. If one widow realizes she isn't failing, that's impact. If one person finds the courage to keep going, that's impact. If one person decides to be kinder because of something we've talked about today, that's impact. Social media often teaches us to chase numbers, followers, views. uh, likes, shares. There's nothing wrong with wanting your work to reach more people. There's nothing wrong with wanting your work to reach more people. I certainly hope more people find these conversations, because here I talk about things many people don't talk about, and we need them. But numbers don't determine the value of your voice. Numbers don't determine the value of your voice. Your experiences matter. Your story matters. Your wisdom matters. Not because you are famous, but because you've lived, you've learned, you've survived. You have survived. And someone else may need exactly what you've learned. So if you've ever felt overlooked, please don't stop showing up. If you've ever felt like no one was listening, don't stop speaking. If you've ever wondered whether your life has value because the world doesn't seem to notice, please remember this. Your value was never determined by your visibility. Your value was never determined by your visibility. You don't have to be famous to make a difference. You don't have to be famous to make a difference. You simply have to keep showing up with honesty, kindness, and a willingness to learn. Widowhood didn't make me choose this path. But it has taught me lessons I now feel responsible to share. Not because I'm an expert, but because I'm a fellow traveler. Someone who's still learning, still healing, still growing. And if anything I share helps even one person feel seen, one person, that's what I wrote in my journal, then this journey is worth it. I remind myself daily, that's the goal. I love to hear from you. Have you ever felt like your voice didn't matter because you weren't well known? Share your thoughts in the comments. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. As you share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this conversation, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need a reminder that ordinary people can make an extraordinary difference. Ordinary people can make an extraordinary difference. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep reflecting, keep healing, keep growing, and keep showing up